Recently, I got to attend my first conference ever. I drove down to LA to see how virtual reality is being used to combat disease and also how it's being used for training and education in healthcare. This conference, VMed23, showed me what the latest was in medical virtual reality. And I gotta say, honestly, I'm pretty excited about the future of VR and how it could be used to help people. Okay, and here we are, VMed20. Oh, just kidding, that's Trader Joe's. Yeah, I had to first pick up some flowers for Sam and Erica. Thank you guys again for hosting me.
The destination is on your right, Sofitel Los Angeles at Beverly Hills.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.
So right away, we were up 2 bagels and down a button. And it was the same feeling as the first time I went to everything. And I don't know if it was just me, but I thought it was so funny just walking around seeing everyone in headsets. I've certainly never seen anything like this before. But as I started talking to people, it was really fun, and all that pressure and everything went away. And I realized that as I'm recording all of these interviews and things I'm doing, I can just edit out whatever I want, and that took away all pressure I had. So the rest of the time was great. It was my first time interviewing people, and it was honestly a blast to go to each booth and kind of talk to everyone and see what it is that they're doing in the VR space. I even got the chance to speak with the host of the conference, Brennen Spiegel, and yeah, that was a great experience too, so here it is. Alright, I'm here at the second day of VMed23, and I'm here with our gracious host, Brennen Spiegel. Do you mind introducing yourself a little bit as far as how you got all this organized?
Sure, yeah. So as you said, I'm Brennen Spiegel. I'm the Director of Health Services Research here at Cedars-Sinai, and I run our virtual medicine program, which is focused on using extended reality technologies like VR mainly, but we're interested in other forms of XR for improving human health and well-being.
Why did you start hosting these conferences?
Yeah, I think there's been for years a community around the world working somewhat in a siloed manner on these clinical applications of VR, but haven't really had a way of convening. And a couple conferences developed. There's the IVRHA and then our VMed conference that both serve the role of convening this international MXR community so that we can exchange notes, learn from one another, try the demos of the equipment itself, and just really bring together a very interdisciplinary group of people that normally wouldn't even talk to one another because they're in completely different spheres of influence.
Okay, so that was the end of VMed23, or at least the first day. I think it's really easy to live in a vacuum sometimes. I guess that's what these conferences are for, is for you to meet with people and share ideas. I guess that's why people do these things, huh? Well, for me it was my first time, so I guess now I'm understanding that. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with some more interviews, and I am really happy with how that's going, you know. Just starting this channel and just starting to record things in general. You know, I just bought like a microphone and tripod stand just before this conference and didn't really know how it was gonna go. And I was pretty nervous, honestly. Once I just started talking to people, that all kind of went away. I think everyone has a passion. That's why they're there. You know, a passion for VR and a passion for actually helping people. It's really like beautiful to see. So now, by the gracious hosts that are hosting me here, I am going to get in a hot tub. Alright, this second day, let me tell you, it was awesome. Got to pet some dogs. I opted for the yogurt today. They were using the freaking Tesseract to model this brain here. And I wish I had it when I was learning neuroscience. I also got to try out this like crazy 4D movie experience that I think that's just how movies should be now in general. You get to feel temperature, you can smell things, it's really crazy. We got to hear from patients as well and hear their side of things. And one of them profoundly stated, that it is our ignorance that is the cause of our suffering. I also had never thought in a million years I'd be seeing beatboxing at a medical convention. I thought that was so cool. And it was great. They were beatboxing to Lovely Day, and yeah, that was just a really, really great time.
And this is my very first conference, academic conference ever.
Oh, okay.
And so one thing I noticed about everyone here, maybe it's different with other conferences too, but everyone has such a passion for helping people. So, I mean, you can see yourself maybe get a little bit emotional at times talking about your patients. And that's how I feel when I think about helping people with depression. It's like a really deep down emotional thing that I have, where it's this passion and drive to improve, to improve how treatments work and things like that. And it's so great when I'm doing interviews with people. I can just see their passion come out for why they're doing what they're doing. I think that's absolutely amazing. And yeah, even the work you're doing, when you're talking about like those moments where it's something we're still trying to understand, just how to reignite hope in people who are feeling a lot of pain or who are struggling to change their lives. And the fact that VR is able to do that and we're learning how is absolutely incredible, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right that there's a lot of passion and excitement. And that's the case whenever there's an innovation with great potential. There's going to be a small group of people who see the value early. And it becomes sort of a passion project to then build the case, evidentiary case, the financial case, the clinical case in this case, to then convince enough other people to believe in this cause, and then have a threshold of individuals who eventually take on this new innovation. And that's just how innovations diffuse. There's a book on this, Diffusion of Innovations, a very famous book by Rogers. Is it Everett Rogers? I forget. Roger Everett, I forget,
Right,
I should remember.
One of those.
It's a very famous book, but in it, he describes that in order for any new innovation to take hold, there has to be a critical mass of people thinking about it, working on it, and advancing that innovation. And so naturally, you're going to find very passionate people at a conference like this, because they're here to push the story, or at least to develop it, and then ideally create a story that others believe in too. Over time, I've seen this conference evolve. The first group of people that came in 2018 were the only ones in the world, for the most part, that were doing this. And now we're seeing more and more and more people who are paying attention, thinking about this, trying to figure out if it will work in their own practice. And that's the natural history of an innovation. So what you're detecting is probably a little bit different from a traditional conference, mainly because we're still pretty nascent, although we're much farther along than we were when we started this conference in 2018. Now we have a science that the FDA recognizes, has a name for it. We have regulatory oversight. We have a new medical society. We have NIH funding. We have Medicare now legislating coverage of these technologies. So when those sorts of things happen, more and more people get involved in a conference like this.
Yeah, no, so this is, like I said, it's my first conference, so this is my first experience for anything like that.
Okay.
And I'm absolutely loving it, really. Just seeing all the innovations and just talking with people. It's so nice to share a passion with someone. And yeah, that's what I think is driving VR, or at least in the medical sector. So the reason why I'm doing this channel is to kind of teach people about medical VR and how that can be used. Yes, a lot of people, like you said, know it for entertainment. You can even teach someone how to do evil things in VR. So what do you want to tell people how VR can be used? And what do you see for the future of VR, like the best use cases, even for in like medical VR?
Yeah, well, virtual reality is just a platform. Think about a syringe. It's not the syringe that matters, it's the medicine that goes through the syringe that matters. The syringe is just a medicine delivery mechanism. Virtual reality in that regard is like a syringe. It doesn't hurt as much, but it's a syringe. So it's not the VR headset, although there's different types of headsets with different capabilities. It's what are people seeing and feeling and hearing and experiencing in that headset? How do we craft therapeutic virtual environments that are specific to individuals and their unmet needs? How do we meet them where they are, physically, emotionally, cognitively? And so that's what medical extended reality is about. It's about the science behind bringing that software with the right hardware and then delivering it, implementing it in actual clinical practice. And so, VR can be used for many things. It's not like any one thing. When people say, does VR work? Like, what does that even mean? That's like asking me, does medicine work? Like, well, what medicine are you talking about? Which
Mhm.
patients are you talking about? What do you mean does VR work?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense as a question. So VR has incredible breadth of opportunities. The most extensive literature is around pain management.
Yeah.
That we're seeing with anxiety, depression, with addiction, schizophrenia, but also physical rehabilitation, stroke rehabilitation, cerebral palsy, MS. The list goes on and on. I mean, it's just there's 50 or more use cases for
And people
virtual
keep
reality.
building new stuff all the time.
That's right. And there's always going to be some new innovative idea. We're working on irritable bowel syndrome and GI conditions.
I do want to be a part of that beta and try that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much
Okay,
for the
well,
interview. I
thanks for the
appreciate
time.
it very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Take care. All
Thank
right.
you very much, Brennan.
Sure thing. Good luck with your channel.
Thank you again, Brennan, for doing an interview with me. I know it was very busy, and I appreciate the time you took to share your insights with us. After the conference, I visited the observatory to see all of LA, and it felt like forever walking up there. It was a great time going to this conference. It's kind of like a house party where I just walk around talking to everybody, and then the time, it's already over before you know it. And I just want to say that, thank you for everyone I spoke with. It was really inspiring, I would say, to kind of see how everyone is developing this space. It is my dream to create treatments for people, and getting to see how others are doing it now with virtual reality was amazing. I would also like to say for the people watching that VR is more than just maybe what you know about entertainment. It's also being used to really treat people with a various number of diseases, and to keep that in mind that no matter what, media we use, there's always room on the human element of how we use things to change our lives and the lives of others. And hopefully we tend towards reducing suffering. And to steal a quote from the last slide of the conference, I really do think if we mesh all our passions together to build this space, all we need to do is look up.